Joe here at ECRM's Latin America Health and Beauty Care session in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. And I'm with Evelyn from Euromonitor International.
Hello.
Thanks for joining us
Thank
again.
you for inviting us.
So Evelyn spoke yesterday about trends in beauty and personal care in Latin America, and it was a great educational session. And what I want to do is cover some of the topics from this session. And what I'd like to talk about now is the concept of non-store retailing. Because that's a big impact on beauty sales in Latin America.
Yes, of course. So non-store retailing, I'm gonna define it first. So we consider those channels that doesn't have a store, like a physical store. And in this category, we divide it into direct sellers and internet retailing.
Okay. Could you give a little more details on what a direct seller is?
Sure. So direct sellers are those, as I said, that doesn't have a store, but they sell their products to representatives of vendors, and these vendors either has a commission of the product or they have a better price, so they can resell it to the final consumer.
And they're meeting in person often.
Exactly, and usually it's a relationship, like a super personalized relation, one-to-one.
So like an Avon or Mary Kay.
Exactly, those are the kind of the companies that we refer as direct sellers.
Okay, and among direct selling, do some categories of beauty and personal care products resonate more with direct selling than other ways of?
Sure, especially in Latin America, direct sellers are a pretty strong channel. They have a huge part of the market, and the categories that are thrive in this channel are fragrances, skincare, and color cosmetics.
So the other component of non-store retailing is online, and Latin America poses some particular challenges and opportunities for online retail. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yes, of course. So, I mean, internet retailing, it's growing. It's one of the double-digit growth channels, and not only in Latin America, but in the world. So, that's one of the opportunities. I mean, some of the challenges that not all the population in Latin America have access to internet right now, but it's also, again, the usage of internet is growing every year significantly, and then from that point we need to, like you as a retailer or a distributor in the country, you need to be ready with the platforms to cater this to the consumers, to the internet.
One of the things you mentioned I thought was interesting is that the people who are getting online, they're getting it through mobile more than through laptops.
Exactly. So that's why another trend that we've seen in the market, in the Latin American market, that people are skipping getting to websites and they are going directly to mobile phones. So I am asking the companies, like, how are you ready in your mobile applications or your mobile strategy of communication with consumers?
Yeah, and brands and retailers, I mean, they need to be online to have a presence, even if they're not selling their products online.
Exactly. Even not all the companies are selling through internet right now, but have the platform ready, so when the consumers get into the platform, they already going and not catching up into the trend.
What was also interesting is that how some of the consumers are getting around the fact that they may not have credit cards. You know, they're finding interesting ways of paying vendors.
That's another challenge that some companies have faced in Latin American countries. For example, in Mexico, Amazon has this challenge, and now they are creating new tools so consumers that are heavily users of cash can get access to these platforms, maybe paying through another retailers, and then can access to this service.
And that's one of the opportunities, or one of the points that you brought up as far as how to get into the e-commerce game without necessarily doing it yourself. You mentioned the importance of partnerships.
Exactly. So sometimes just develop your own app could be expensive, but there's so many companies that are already cater this need, and they are there ready to give the service. So look up on your market and see which of these companies already given the service, for example, distribution or just receiving the cash, so you can leverage on those companies and just do the partnership and save a lot of time and sources on this.
Yeah, so use the existing platforms that are out there.
And they are
yeah.
local, so they
Okay.
know the market.
All right, and that's another important topic that she brought up is the importance of really paying attention to the local market and figuring out what tools, what platforms, how people are shopping in each particular market.
And how the consumers also are following the international trends.
All right, well, thank you for joining us. Thank you for the great presentation.
Thank you.
And we'll have more information about Euromonitor up in this post.